Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Unbelievable. Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to myself here in Los Angeles. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Unbelievable. First and foremost, I want to thank the person who brought me here, Shlomo Lazarian. A tzaddik in your midst. You don't understand. You might know the story. Don't know the story. I have a son. His name is Akiva. He lives here in Los Angeles, just a few minutes away from this base measure, from the Kollel. And Reb Shlomo Lazarian took him under his wings. He gave him a job and just takes care of him every single day. The chesed doesn't stop. He gets me this hotel room here in the Marriott. I'm not going to tell you which one because then you're going to come visit. The Schwach one. He gets me a room. He bought me a table because they didn't have then a chair. I'm not kidding you. The guy is insane with his chesed. He loves to give and give. So Yishkoyach Gal Shlomo Lazarian. And I have to say, thank you to the call. Thank you to Rabbi Brander for arranging this whole thing. Tremendous chos. I feel the warmth. I've been here when? I've been in the Chazak building. What is it, a year ago? 2 years ago already? Wow. I'm getting used to traveling. I mean, every single time we have these issues, the tech issues and this and that, but eventually we'll get there. And I haven't been out of Eretz Yisrael for years, and then I came once. It looks like it's going to start happening. I got to come visit the Mishpacha, you know what I mean? Got to come visit Mishpacha. So thank you for having me. Leilu Nishmas Rozy Jaffe. Yesterday was one of the shortest shiur, maybe the shortest shiur I've ever given. It was about 28 minutes or so. We were in Vail, Colorado, trying to catch a flight. We had to leave early. I had to get off the slopes, record a shiur, and we're out the door by the afternoon. So I'm going to try to make it up. I know you guys want a long shiur. Kidding. But we'll make up some charts, some story, whatever it is. It'll be more like a Motzei Shabbos kind of shiur. Be'ezer Hashem. So real quickly, we'll start off here with some emails like we always do. I enjoy learning Daf Yomi more than ever before. It's an honor. I have to get this guy out of the way. Oh no, I think I might have written. No, I don't want to touch anything. Thank you for leading a Torah revolution, a new movement in Torah learning, personal growth. These emails are not about me. This is about this guy that lives in Los Angeles, Rabbi Yoda Bookstein. I don't know if you guys know him. My Rebbe and teacher, Rav Chatzkel. Yeah? You don't have to clap for everything, but you can clap for him. Everybody, our voice, a big round of applause. He's valued chairman against Israel. Daf Yomi. What are you doing, Rebbe? What you're doing is Nish Pashat. He speaks Yiddish. Over here in Los Angeles, guys speak Yiddish, not Pashat. I'm sure that we only know a fraction of what it takes to the K. May Hashem give you and your team Siyat Shmaya. I'm sorry that I will miss you during your visit to LA. For the record, I was recruited to Yeshir a year ago by my Chavrusa Rabbi Matikas and his son Moshe from Manchester. Baruch Hashem, I'm eternally grateful. Peace and blessings. Rabbi Yonah Bookstein, Los Angeles. I thought I'd throw an email from Los Angeles. Why not? Oh no, this is not good. That's it. Now I'm stuck. This way? Okay. My name is Ohavia Feldman from Inwood. We're apparently related. My friend Josh Layton from Inwood got me on the Daf. Subas Daf Beis. Pretty big deal, I promise. Been watching you for months. I have a big question for you. And the kids are, this is the guy that says a clean shave every day. What product shaver do you use? The other day when you were in Miami, you started mentioning a cream that you use. No, I said that when I was bar mitzvah by my brother's bar mitzvah more than 30 years ago. Oh, 35 years ago. I think. That's when I used this cream. And it was the last time I used it. Thanks for divulging the secret. On a serious note, thank you. Your shir is entertaining and well-paced. It has changed my life. Thank you. Yishkoyach Ahavya. Now, this guy sponsored yesterday. He says the ABCD group was not, the challenge was to make you freilich. By the way, you should just know that I tried many Daf Yomi shiurim. What I find so amazing about your shir, besides the geschmack and the charts, they're really amazing. I feel the chizuk you give to keep going and how important it is to learn every day. He's referring to that. I gave the shir during skiing as well. That's what I feel the greatest thing about your shir. We don't just need a shir. We need energy to keep going. The yomi, thank you so much. It's really a Gemara in Shabbos, Amud Aleph. When one sells chitim, you should mix in a kav of chuntim preservatives. The same applies to learning. We must mix it with chizuk to preserve the continuous learning. A guy in a kollel in Eretz Yisrael just told me this word last week. He says, what's good about your shir is that there's a kav of chumtin. I said, no, my shir is more of a kav of chitim. It's all chumtin, it's all jokes and mices and a little bit of learning. Shalom Rebbe, about 2 months ago, my dear friend Nick Salman told me you should check out your shir. I told him I have no time, but he kept pushing, so I started listening in the car. I called it a fake, doing Daf Yomi because I would just play the shir when I got in the car. No. I didn't know. From speaking to people over the next 2 weeks, I realized my brother, Rabbi Yomi Kasper, who was also learning with MDY, and then at Shabbos Meal, two of the guys at the table were also, and then I saw Rav Noam Fix, he's also, all these coincidences pointed me to immerse myself in the Daf. Baruch Hashem, I've been learning Daf since the Darm. My kids all want to hear good morning rabbis every morning, and my 9-year-old always wants to hear your question of the day. Mishpacha is ecstatic to meet Rav Eli in Los Angeles. I think I met these kids outside. These are the kids I met? Yeah. Let's see if I can get them saying good morning here. No, Casper, that's who it was. Okay. Dov Eisenberger. I'm telling you, there's more emails, more charts, more everything today. On today's share, you made a comment after talking about the one experience of the video you show your boys, and you said it's not that important. I respectfully disagree. The video is important, and hearing your personal, whatever it says underneath this picture, better is tremendous. I've been keeping pace since Chagiga, and admit happily that I started with Rabbi, I'm not going to say his name, just get the daf done quickly. Oivey. Over time, I heard about your share and started listening. Joy, WhatsApp group, YouTube, anxiously awaiting your good morning, Rabbi Boisai. Hearing about your time and fancy schmancy veil is appreciated. I don't know what just happened to me. Okay. Thank you for keeping it all real and keeping us all in pace, even while you take some time off. There's a lesson there too somewhere. I was recently given the schus to make the Simon Adarm in Englewood, New Jersey, with an exceptional chevra. My comments to the group, I wanted to show the video, but there's not enough time today. Basically, I'm going to show this video. It's very, to me, it was emotional what he said in this video. Basically, he's mechazik the olam to not talk during Kaddish. He said he heard it on the shir, and he asked all his friends not to talk during Kaddish. Just at least during Kaddish, take one small step. You can have one without the other. Oh, it's not about the daf, he says, and it's not about the yomi, but rather it's about the chevra. You cannot have one without the other, and when you mix all three, it just becomes an awesome experience they look forward to every day. Keep the jokes coming, your personal touch with insights. Thank you to the Torah. Finally, at age 52, I'm able to appreciate what it means to learn Gemara. Thank you, Dov Eisenberger. So for Dov asked to show the skiing, so here goes a little bit of skiing in Vail. I know the Olam really wants to see it. Here you go. So, by the way, I have a big schos. Doesn't happen very, very rarely do I have one of my children with me. At cheer here live, I have my son Rozy, someone right over there, right behind שלמה. He's the one with the GoPro. Phenomenal athlete and a very good skier. So here's the whole mishpacha, and that's me. No, it's nothing. I used to be able, when I used to dunk, I used to jump a lot higher. Okay, so here goes. That's y'all. That's my, I'm showing you my kids. That's y'all, the little guy with the orange pants, my 12-year-old. This is Akiva that lives here in Los Angeles.
And this is Aaron.
And that's my son Aaron. Take a look at this right here.
Nice jump, Aaron.
And he's a serious athlete. Unlike his father. And this is the cheer. It's embarrassing. No, anybody here ski? And what's that? Anybody snowboard? Only 4 people board. Okay, so nobody else will know to critique me. Shma, here we go. Oh. Just pay attention that I'm going faster than everybody else. That's all you need to know. Oh no. We're going to have this all day long? I think it's something else. This goes on for half an hour. Oh, Akiva, my son Akiva. And I don't recommend what we were just doing there. No, he's holding a phone. He froze his hand off to get this footage. Not bad for a 50-year-old. Rabbi Yisai, we got to get this sponsored. We got to start learning some Gemara. How long ago did we start? Like half an hour ago. The Koil is sponsored by Navis from Lakewood. The Koil is sponsored by Supporting Torah Strengthening Our Bitachon. The Masechta is sponsored by Maaser. The second sponsor for the Masechta, Leilu Nishmas Yosef by Anon Ymous. The month, the sponsor, Leilu Nishmas Zechariah. The second month, Shprintzy and Alan Gross, the Nishmas is the yahrzeits of our fathers, Shlema Ytzchak Aiyzik, and Benimin Aiyzik and HiRsh HaKohen. The third sponsor for the month, the MDY family, Leilu Nishmas, Baruch Helfgad, Zechariah Ben ybl'c Shloima. This is a new one. Third sponsored by the MDY family, Shkoyach MDY family, wherever you are. The Pircha-May, we have 4. Alan and Shprintzy Gross, who also are the sponsors of the month, in memory of yesterday's yahrzeit of our Aunt Yudit Zeigler, Yehuda's Bashalom Meir. And by Shachar David, in honor of the Shloshim of Lea, how do you pronounce that? Lea Schwartz, Lea Bat Pircha-May Nishama, having Aliyah. And by Rozy Jaffe and family in loving memory of on the yahrzeit of her mother, Dita Muhlrad, Duba Feiga Bas Menachem. In honor of Mark and Yaffa on their 27th anniversary. Mazel tov! Wow, that's embarrassing. They should have many happy and healthy years together and have lots of nachas. Oh man, that should be the only embarrassment today. The art is sponsored for complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi, Ben Leir, Rabbi. So we got a lot to learn today and a lot of geschmack charts. Also big records and charts. Says the Heilige Mishnah, Li Nishmas from Meir, brand new Mishnah. So if you've never learned Daf Yomi, if you never learned Masechtas Nazir, it's a brand new topic. We could start fresh today. Top of Yud Aleph Amud Aleph. Mazgulai Sakais. So again, Nazirus is when a person refrains from drinking or eating any grape product. He also cannot cut his hair, and he cannot become tamei to a dead person. He can't go to a funeral. He can't touch a dead person. So, and he can't take a haircut, as I said. So you see that on the chart. I hope, yeah, okay. Those are the things that a Nazir cannot do. So they pour him a cup of wine. Mazgal is a kais. V'amar haredi Nazir mimenu. So if you weren't part of the shir in the beginning of Nazir, the first daf, I interviewed a real live Nazir, Rabbi Turjuman, and this is what he looks like. This is a cartoon of him, but this is exactly what he looks like. We're actually, a lot of people asked to hear the full interview. This could be, I don't know why Yoshi put a bottle of water when he's the wine, because mazgu sometimes means to dilute the wine. So you put a little water, but basically they're pouring a cup of wine for him. I don't want to have anything to do with the wine, with that cup of wine. Now, we know that Nazirus is these 3 things: not going to get a haircut, not going to a funeral, and not. But it only said, I'm a Nazir from that. Harez a Nazir. So, in fact, he is a Nazir, a full-fledged Nazir, even though he said, I don't want to be drinking wine. He didn't mention the entire Nazirus. Then the Mishnah says, Maaser be isha achas. This is a story with a woman. She was very drunk. She's drunk, and they poured a cup of wine. Now, I just want to tell you a quick story that happened with a drunk woman. There was a husband walks into his house, and he sees his wife sitting at the table. Oh, here. Who gave me this bottle of wine? The cask, it's from that store, the guy I met him. She's sitting like this, but it was empty. And she says, the husband, as he walks in, she says, you know, you changed my life. Hi, Moshe. You changed my life. Ever since I met you, I've been the same. You're unbelievable. I don't know, what would I do without the husband? He's never heard such things. He's like, I understand. Are you talking to me or the bottle is talking to me? So he says, shut up. I'm talking to the bottle. So we have a drunk woman here, and they go and they pour her a cup of wine. I don't want to have anything to do with that wine. I'm done. So based on what we just said a second ago, that if they do it to a man or to anybody else, we said that you become a full-fledged Nazir. If you say, I don't want to have anything to do with the wine, I'm a Nazir from the wine, you become a Nazir. So what should happen to this woman? She should become a Nazira. She said, Hareini Nazira memenu. Amru Chacham, but Chacham said no. All she meant to say is that this cup of wine is usher to me, like a carbon would be usher to anybody. You can't have benefit from an animal that's going to be a carbon. I don't want to have benefit from this particular glass of wine. Now the question is, why is it any different than the beginning of the Mishnah? When somebody else says, I don't want to have that wine, you become a full-fledged Nazir. Why? Now, I just want to point out, because some of you might be interested in, she's drunk, and he's drunk. Does he have the right to make a Nazirus when you're drunk? You don't have all your marbles there. The answer is yes. When a person is drunk, he's chayiv in all the mitzvahs. What he sells. What he buys is a buy. What he breaks, he's chayiv. Everything. The only thing he's not chayiv in is sometimes davening, because it's not respectful to daven Hashem. But any transaction you do when you're drunk, unless you're drunk like light, shikr like light, meaning you lost it completely, or you're like almost unconscious, then that's a different story. Okay, says the Gemara, Maaser listar, you're telling me a story, and the story contradicts the beginning of the Mishnah. In the beginning, you told me that when a person just looks at a cup of wine and says, I don't want to have that cup of wine, I'm a Nazir from that cup of wine, that makes him a full-fledged Nazir. But then you tell me a story that contradicts what you said. Usually when you tell me a story, it's to corroborate, not to contradict. Okay, says the Gemara, there's a few words missing, and I say this every time we say it. The Mishnah was written very, very concise and precise, and for other people to understand those, because in those days you weren't allowed to write the Mishnah down, so everything had to be by heart. So they would take out as many words as possible to make it easy for them to remember. Chasur Mechzer just means that you need to understand that there's more, not that the Rabbeinu HaKadosh forgot to put these words in. It just means that you have to insert these words. Chasur Mechzer v'achitani mazgulay sakais v'amareini nazir mimenu harei nazir. If they poured up a cup of wine for him and they said, here, take a drink, and he said, no, I'm going to be a Nazir from this cup of wine, he's a Nazir. Vim shikar, you have to stick in. But if we're dealing with a drunk person, drunkards are different. Vim shiku, v'amareini nazir mimenu, eini nazir. But a drunk person is different. Why? Keman domar harei alai korbanu. So that's this thing right over here. When he says the words Hareini Nazir Mimenu, what he's really thinking in his mind is, this cup of wine is going to be usher to me like a karba. He says one thing and he means another thing. Why? Oh, you guys saw that? No. Here, check out the screen. When they bring him a cup of wine, he says, I'm usher from it. Now, why doesn't you just say straight out, Hareini Nazir, I don't want that cup of wine, I don't want that bottle. Says the Gemara, Savar, Maisinili, Achrina, Umitzarinli. You guys know, like on Purim, you see the drunk guy, the guy that's out of it, keep on shoving another drink. Yeah, take another one. It's only when it's drunk, seriously. It's something about I remember they once did like research in New York, I think it was. They said, like, if you park a really nice car that came out of the car wash in the street, they usually won't touch it. But if you puncture one of the wheels, then suddenly other people come by and they puncture the next one, they'll break the window. When you see somebody that's down, a little bit out of it, it's human nature. You just give him if the guy's walking around, nobody gives him a cup of wine. But this is shikr, he's already tipsy. Let's give him more. Let's beat him up even more. It's just That's what Gemara says. It's normal. So he's concerned that they're going to keep on going and telling him, here, drink more, drink more. So what does he say? He lies to them. He says, I'm a Nazir. Instead of saying that cup is going to be usher to me, he lies to them. He says, I'm a Nazir. Don't bother me anymore. Oh, Nazir. Like the very famous story, but we got to say a very famous story where the yeshiva guy, he bought his own cereal. So people started stealing his cereal. So he wrote on a gneva. Nobody comes next day, half the box is missing. Then he decided, I'm going to get these guys. He wrote Chalav Stam. Oh, Chalav Stam. Is that the story? Fine. Which reminds me of my other favorite story. Once I'm here in Los Angeles, a lot of you didn't hear the story. This is a true one. It's sad, but it's very true. I was doing construction on a house in a certain, I don't want to say what city because the guy might be watching this year. And this guy, frum guy, he looked very frum to me. He was schmoozing, and I'm eating cheesecake, and he's schmoozing with me, and he's telling me about all the things that he went through, and he stole his father's car on Shabbos, and he drove here and there, like, this terrible stuff. He says, could I have some of your cheesecake? I said, sure. I give him part of my cheesecake. And he keeps on telling me, this over there, I don't know why he's telling. And all of a sudden he goes, wait a minute, where did you buy this cheesecake? I said, this cafe. He spits it out. He goes, I'm not joking, he grabs grass and he starts putting grass in his mouth. I didn't know what he's doing. So he's like trying to cleanse his mouth with grass. And when he's done with this whole procedure, he says, the Rebbe said that Chalav Stam is from the Chamurais. Chalav Stam is one of the worst things. But you're just telling me about your Chil Shabbos. No, Chalav Stam. You just were machshel me in Chalav Stam, he told me. Maaser Shoya. Kemat Hoya, whatever. If you're Lubavitch, it's Kemat Hoya. If you're not, it's Hoya. No, I said the Shlomi Klein explained to me why it's so. In Lubavitch is like the worst. It's yahrzeits. Anyway, talking about that, here, I think I have MDY pajamas. I love wine. So the other day, because again, a lot of you probably haven't even seen Shir recently. This is in Vail. In the Haagen-Dazs in Vail, I met the guy that works there. He's like a Nazir. His hair, if you look at this picture, this is when his hair is over his shoulder, but when it's in the back, it reaches the floor. And a guy what? You can't see it? Oh, because I don't want to touch it. I'm not touching it. But you can see his hair. It's all the way to the bottom. And basically somebody wrote to me today, Dan Kaufman, he just walked into this place yesterday and he yelled at the guys from Midwood. And he said, why weren't you open yesterday? It's the only kosher establishment in Vail that you can buy Haagen-Dazs. I was just bringing it because it's Chalav Stam, Rabbi Isai. And I don't eat Chalav Stam. I don't eat Haagen-Dazs anymore because I'm lactose intolerant. But I'm over in Chalav Stam, and one day I'm going to be better and not eat it. So he tells me that these guys are like a real Nazir, like he's a gentle kind of person because the guy told me he does it for spiritual reasons. Anyway, fine. So we're back here. We're going to learn a little bit today also. So, so I'm going to tell him something that's straight out a lie. I'm going to tell the shikars think themselves. I'm going to tell them that I am a Nazir, and therefore they're going to stop giving me wine. And then the Gemara continues, the Mishnah continues. And by the way, you should know there's a story, a real true story with a drunk woman, or it could be a drunk man. When they say that they're a Nazir from a cup of wine, they mean not that they're going to be a Nazir, just stop forcing wine on me. I don't want any more wine. Says the Heilige Mishnah, Nishmas ben Rebavrom, Haredi Nazir Amenas Sheyeh Shoyseyan. So, no, this is not working. Oh, it is. So, here you go. Here's a guy. This is case Aleph. Okay? Aleph, 1. There's 3 cases in the Mishnah. You need to remember these cases. The guy says, I'm going to be a Nazir on condition that I could drink wine. Right? Because, again, what are the things that you can't do? You can't drink wine, you can't take a haircut, and you can't be metabel mace. She said, I won't go to funerals, and I won't take a haircut. But I want to drink wine, like the guy in Vail. He drinks wine. He just doesn't shave his head. So, what's halacha? I was thinking maybe it's like a woman. Women don't want to shave their head. when you finish the Naziros after 30 days, let's say it's a 30-day term, you have to shave off your entire head and bring karbanas and do it. They don't want to do that. It's not very geschmack. I'll be in a zero on condition that I don't have to shave. It's one of these things. He's saying on condition I like my wine. I'll be a Nazir, but I want to be able to drink wine. Or maybe he says I'll do the other two things, but I want to go to funerals. Hareze Nazir. No, you have. Once you say you're going to be a Nazir from two things, you're a Nazir. You're also in all three. Okay, so here's the next case. Case number 2. I know that there's such a thing called a Nazir, but I didn't know that a Nazir is not allowed to go into wine. Well, it doesn't really mean that. It means I didn't know that a Nazir cannot drink wine. Hareza also. Yoshi depicted it as the guy going into the wine because it says biyayin in the wine. Fine. So now we know the two. By the way, it's hard to see, but all this stuff takes time. The guy hiccups because he's a little drunk. I don't know if you can see it. No. Okay, next time. Fine. Areza Aser, Reb Shimon Mater. Reb Shimon says that this is mutter. Why? In other words, mutter means he's not a Nazir at all. We're going to see what's going on here. Next case. So over here you just see in case B, Beis, the Tanakama says it's Aser. Reb Shimon says mutter. Okay. Next case. This is case Gimel. I thought that I could go to Chachamim. Chachamim will tell me that I'm allowed to drink wine. Why? I can't survive without wine. Right? So, there's such a thing called alcohol withdrawal. I think I actually put a chart in here somewhere later on. Okay, we'll get to it later. But the bottom line is, this guy is Shachar David. He doesn't drink. He needs his drink. So he's going to go to the Rav and say, listen, I became a Nazir, but I didn't realize that if I don't drink and I can't, it's going to be very detrimental to my health. I needed to get me out of this. Or, Taisus points out there, the guy doesn't have a good job, so he buries the dead. Happens to be in Eretz Yisrael, Chaver Kedisha guys earn basically the highest salaries possible in Israel. More than doctors and lawyers, they make top dollar. This guy needs parnasa. He became a grave digger. Here. So I want to be a Nazir, but I need to earn a living. So I won't drink wine, I won't get a haircut, but I want to be Dita Muhlrad. What's halacha? Harezim mutar. Now, if we go back for a second, just because it's going a little slow, I apologize. Here. I can't see the charts because he blocked my numbers here. Here, let me see if I can move this guy away. Here we go. Okay, this is chart 8. Chart 8 we see Tanakama says Aser, Reb Shimon says mutter, green. It's allowed. Now let's go back. That's why it's great to be in the Beis Medrash. I don't have to do anything. I show up. Everything works. Here. Now, this is the grave digger. Now what should be in this case? It should be the opposite, no? Reb Shimon who says mutter, over here says Aser. And Chachamim, the Tanakama who says Aser, they say mutter. It's reversed. And the Gemara is going to discuss it. Why? Why is this case, the third case, different than the second case? So, says the Gemara, B'lif like Nami, Rebbe Shimon Bereisha. Check this out. This is case 1. The first case. A guy says, I'm a Nazir on condition that I could drink wine. How come Rebbe Shimon doesn't say anything here? How come Rebbe Shimon doesn't say he's not a Nazir, like he said in the second case? Here, take a look. Here are the three cases. In case number 2, where he says that I won't, it's B-I, right? I didn't know that a Nazir is usher in wine. Or I thought, in case 3, I thought I could get out of it. I thought it's detrimental to my health. Reb Shimon says he's not a Nazir. How come he doesn't argue in the first case? Says the Gemara, we have 2 pshatim here. Amar Yeshua ben Levi. Check this out. He does argue in the first case. He said it once that he's not a Nazir, but it was referring to the first case as well. Okay. Reb Shimon and Tanaka, so there's consistency here. They argue in all 3 cases. Great. Ravina Omar, Bereisha loy poly Reb Shimon. There's no machlokes. Yeah, there's no machlokes in the first case. In case number 1, where he says, I am a Nazir on condition that I could drink wine. No machlokes there. Why? My time mishum dehavale masnal mashikos b'Torah. Very good. The famous concept, you can't. I should really hold on a second, just so people and around the world see what's going on in this beautiful base measure. Just for a second. I like the guys all the way in the back over there standing. Why don't you guys sit there? No chairs? Okay, there we go. Standing rolling. Beautiful. Okay. Now that's messed up. Fine. Great. So you can't, let's say you get married, you tell your wife, I'm going to get married to you on condition I don't have to support you and I have to buy you any clothes. So in that case, actually, Tais talks about it. It's a little different than Zachal at all. But you can't make a condition against what the Torah says. The Torah says a Nazir cannot drink wine, can't shave, can't be Pircha-May. So you can't do it. You can't make conditions against the Torah. So therefore, there's no machlokes between Reb Shimon and Tanakam. Says the Gemara, it's bottle. The problem is, it's such a great answer. Reb Shimon ben Levi, what is he going to say? He says there is a machlokes in that case. How could that be? You can't make a condition against the Torah. He's not making a condition against the Torah. He's just stipulating. I want to do X, Y, Z besides this. He's not making a condition in the Torah. So now we have a good right to Ravina that says that there is argument. Okay, so you see how exactly you see that Reb Shimon said at a different time. You see from here that there's the concept of there's a problem of just to point out real quickly, just not all jokes and fun. Because I thought it was a beautiful concept to remember. Tysus brings it down that if you cannot make an agent, if you can't make an agent for something, for instance, when it comes to yibum and chalitza, you can't make an agent. You can't tell somebody, hey, do chalitza on my yivama. You have to do it yourself. So if you can't it's a very nice thing to remember that if you can't send an agent, then you cannot make a stipulation. You can't make a t'nai. They're connected to each other. Like t'nai b'nei Gov, the Reuven, Nazir is also. I cannot tell somebody, be a Nazir for me. So if I can't do that, then I shouldn't be able to make any stipulations. So Tais says you could, because you could send somebody to bring your karbanas for you. Not to not drink wine, but the karbanas, therefore, you could make a stipulation. Okay, fine. I just thought it's interesting. No, right? To remember this aside that you can't make a t'nai when you can't make a shliach. Interesting. Bye. It wasn't a joke. Okay, fine, whatever. Great. Remember this case? I thought that I could go to Bezdin and have them undo it because I need my wine. I need my job to dig graves. So we already asked the contradiction. It seems like that their shittas are reversed. In case 2, did I want this one? Yeah, here. Okay. Ramas Reisha, what's Reisha? It's blocking, I know. This little guy. See how beautiful it is when you have the sheer line. Fine. Next. Oh, that's great. I hope I didn't destroy the program now. The Reisha is case 2. In this, I just want to. The Leilu should pay attention. Reisha usually means the first case, case 1. Over here, the Gemara means what we're discussing now. In the 2 cases that we're discussing, this is the first case. So it's actually case number 2, Beis. Now what? I know that there's Naziros, but I didn't know that a Nazir is Asr in wine. We have a Machlokes. Tanna Kama says Asr, Reb Shimon says Mutter. But in the 3rd case, the halach is reversed. Tanna Kama says Mutter, Reb Shimon says Asr. Why is it that they reverse their shittas? Says the Gemara, Emenami Areza Asr, Reb Shimon Mater. Ha. Check that out. Did you see that happen? No? Let's go back. It's so slow. Oh. Okay. The Gemara asks that their shita doesn't line up when in the beginning Tanna Kama says Aser and afterwards Tanna Kama says Mutter. So the Gemara says no, they do line up. It's not the greatest way to get out of a problem like this. It seems like a contradiction in the Mishnah. So you have to say Eipoch, flip it around. But usually when the Gemara says such an answer, as far as I remember, the Gemara usually has a much better answer. ybl'c. No, there's a better terms. Don't flip the shittas. Reisha Kigoin, we're holding the Daf Yomi on Beis. Reisha Kigoin, the Nazar Mechada. What happened was, so look at the left side of the chart. He made a Nazirus for one thing. I'm not going to drink wine. According to Chachamim, you don't have to make it Nazirus. You don't have to say, oh, I'm going to be a Nazir from A, B, C, from all the 3 things. You can just say, I'm going to be a Nazir from 1. It applies to all of them. According to Reb Shimon, that you have to say all 3. You have to say, if you're going to say Hareini Nazir, just those words, great. But once you start specifying, say, I'm going to be a Nazir from wine, that's not enough to trigger Nazirus. You have to say all 3 things. I'm going to be a Nazir from wine, a Nazir from going to touch dead people, and a Nazir from taking haircut. You could just say 2 words, Hareini Nazir, but once you start talking, then you have to specify everything, and therefore, that's why Reb Shimon holds that you're not a Nazir if you just say, I'm going to be a Nazir from wine. But Seifa, the Nazir Mikulu, the Itchu Machada. Now the Gemara says what happened was that he went and he asked the Rav to undo one of the 3, right? He got a great job in the Chaver Kedisha. So now he runs to the Beis and says, could you get me out of my tsaros? I don't want to be a Nazir for dead people. I won't drink wine and I won't take haircuts. So listen to what the Gemara says here. According to Chacham, who say that in order to become a Nazir, all you need is 1. And when you undo 1, Ishtri, if you become a Nazir through 1, you can undo the entire Naziros by undoing 1. But according to Reb Shimon, that says you need all 3 to become a Nazir. So Taisa says, "Lashon ke'teroi kach yisuroi." Just like by going into something, by making something mutter, you need all 3. So by making something asur, you need all 3, or vice versa. So the bottom line is that's why the shita is reversed. If you look at the chart, you'll see. Tanna Kama says mutter because once you get rid of 1, you get rid of all. But in the flip case, in the reisha asur, because once you become a nazir from 1 cup of wine, you become a nazir for everything. You can't take a haircut and can't go to funerals. That's why Reb Shimon says it's awesome. Another pshat is so here's I just found this on the internet. Quitting alcohol can be deadly. Hundreds in the US die each year from alcohol withdrawal. Seriously, it's a thing. Because the way it's all, they explain the whole thing, the way the alcohol dumbs up the nervous system, and if you just go cold turkey, if somebody's a real shikker and goes cold turkey, it can be very dangerous. That's why you have to go to detox and slow. Fine. So the guy goes, he says, I thought I could do this. I thought I could abstain. Guy is a shikker. So what's the best way to stop drinking? So I'm a Nazir. He didn't realize he's going to kill himself if he stops cold turkey like that. So he runs to Bezdin and he says, listen, I have a problem here. I got to get out of this Naziros. So we're talking about Anon Ymous. He's literally, it's pikuach nefesh. He needs to drink. So we're talking about Benimin Aiyzik Meflagi. Or the Shmuel v'Rav. And this is another machlokes. How are we doing on time here? Went from the shortest year to the longest year. Just like that.
There's no shockers.
Oh, there's no shockers. Says the Gemara. So we have this machlokes. If you learn the Dharm with us, you're familiar with this. Arbana Dharm v'tir Chacham. Chachamim said that there are four, it says in the Mishnah, there's 4 Nedarim that are mutter. Question is, what does mutter mean? You need a Rav to be matter it, or it just doesn't even start? What's the first one? This is the first one. Nidrei Ziruzin. 2 guys are negotiating a deal, and one of them decides, in order to convince the other one that he's not going to negotiate the price, he says, I'm making a nether that if I go down 1 dime, I'm not going to eat chocolate for the rest of my life. That's a fake nether. Why? Because he's only doing it in order to get the other guy to go up in his price. And it's a negotiation tactic. It's not a real thing. It's a salesman thing. It's not a real nether. Mutter. Nidrei Avai. Somebody exaggerates. He says, I saw 600,000 Jews today. I was at a shir in Los Angeles at a koil. There was 600,000 people there. Standing room only. Okay. And if not, I'm not going to eat this. So, Nidrei Avai. Mutter. Nidrei Shgagos. He made a mistake. Nidrei Einzin. He told his friend, if you don't come to my wedding, you don't come to my son's wedding, I have nothing to do with you. His friend says, okay, I'm coming. And his friend tried to come and he missed his flight. That's Einzin. That because he only didn't do the condition because of Aonis. Fine. But you see here the idea of Aonis, that if there's a pikuach nefesh like by us, v'amar Rav Yehuda, Omer Rav Asi, Arbana Dharm Arlo Tzrichim Sheilo LeChachamim. Yeah, the Mishnah says it's mutter, but wait a minute. Doesn't mean you just eat chocolate now. You have to go to the Rav, explain to him what happened, and I'll let you out of it. But Shmuel said, no way. Tana Katani Hitiru Chachamim. It doesn't say you should go to the Rav and make him mutter. The Mishnah says it's mutter. No way, you don't have to go to the Rav. It never began. The nether never began. Says the Gemara, the same thing in our sugya. Rabbanan Sarvik Shmuel. The nether never began. The Nazirus never began. Reb Shimon Kiravasi. Reb Shimon holds, yes, you might be able to get out of it, but first you have to go to the Rav. Let's see what the Rav says. Says, I forgot to say the sponsor, that Yud Alpha the sponsor, the Chvay, the Shivas Noah Torah, Shalayim and Rav David Amin Shlita, who always encourages us to finish shots. Latzlacha for the Maggid Shir and the members of the HBA group and their families. Amen. Says the Elegant Mishnah, sponsored by Leilu Nishmas from Meir Yechiel ben Reb Avram. Hareini Nazir v'olai legaleach Nazir. It's an interesting lashon here, but all it means is 2 things. First of all, I want to become a Nazir. Second of all, I want to also contribute and pay off the karbanos of another Nazir. Yeah, carbon is not cheap. We go through this all the time. I once had to buy a sheep for the shear, and we bought sheep. But we did a shechita in our shear, cost good money, $500, whatever, a little sheep. A cow is like, over $1,000, $2,000. I'm going to pay for a guy. I have a rachmanis on another Nazir. I'm going to pay for somebody else's thing. So first of all, his friend hears this, and his friend says, I also want to be part of this. Meaning, I want to become a Nazir. And the second thing, Nazir. And also, I want to pay for somebody else's karbanos. Now, if we stop here just for a second, I just want to, so the Gemara is understood a little bit better and easier. What if he just said Ba'ani? His friend says 2 stipulations. I want to become a Nazir and pay somebody else's karbanos off. And a friend walks by, hears it, he says, Va'ani. And I also. Doesn't that mean I want to do both things? Maybe. But the Mishnah continues and he says, Nazir. And I also want to pay somebody else's karbanos off. Seems that Va'ani is not enough. Okay, next. There's a great cartoon here. Here it is. It says, Ra'ayon Ga'oni, Zalman. This is an unbelievable idea. They start shaving each other's hair off. Each person shaves the other guy. What the Mishnah means is, not literally like the cartoon, because he even writes it on top so you don't think that that's the real pshat. I buy your karbanos, you buy my karbanos. I'm a Nazir. After 30 days, I have to buy karbanos. The Torah doesn't say buy it with your own money. I just have to bring the karbanos. So you purchase them for me, and I purchase them for you. And like this, we only purchase one set of karbanos. That's if they're smart. But if they're really dumb, or they don't know about each other, I don't know what the pshat is. If not, you have to purchase your own karbanos and also purchase for somebody else. The famous Maaser, why not? More Maasers. There was a guy that walked by the parts. How do you say parts in English? The who? Come on, Los Angeles. Okay, you all know what a parts is, right? Or maybe nobody knows what it is. That's why they're not telling you how to say it in English. Oh? No. In those days, you had the guy that was in charge of the whole city, and he used to.
The sheriff.
The Baron. Okay, the Baron. The Pirates. It's much better. What? He's the Pirates. Anyways, he's a wicked guy. Jew walks by his house, and the guy has palm trees in the front. The Jew had a nice itch on his back. He's scratching his back. So the Pirates comes out. He says, "Listen, you owe me now $10,000. Fine, give me $10,000 right now." He says, "But I don't have a dime. I lost my wife the other day, and then I don't have a job, and then this. I don't have anything." So the Pirates says, "Really? Okay, you know what? I'm giving you 100. Here's 100 ruble. You should have a good life." So the Jew goes back and tells his friends, "You're not going to believe it. I almost got a fine for $10,000, and I told the guy that what the situation." So two of his friends heard this. Said, "Okay, they're going to try it." They walk by the Pirates' house. They start scratching their back on the palm trees. Pirates comes out. He says, "You 10,000. You 10,000." He says, "No, but we don't have parnaso. We have this, that," and they're waiting for the Pirates to give him 100 ruble. The Pirates says, "No, you idiots. You're 2 guys. If your back itches, you scratch each other's back." What's the mashal? Shlomo Nazir, everybody say. You got to keep on giving. Keep on giving. You have a friend, keep on giving. If you're selfish, you do for yourself, what happens? You have 2 people scratching their backs, you get punished. You got to help the other guy. So over here also, if they're smart, they help each other out. They share each other's korbanos. If not, oy vavoy. Says the Gemara, if his friend didn't say, he heard the 2 stipulations, I want to become a Nazir and I want to buy somebody else a karban. 3 karbanos. And he said, Va'ani va'alai. But he didn't say va'alai, he just said Va'ani. Somebody heard it and only said the word Va'ani, and I also want to be like him. Did he mean both stipulations? Or perhaps it only means part of what he said. And if you're going to tell me it only means half, was he talking about the first statement that the guy said, that he wants to become a Nazir, or the second statement that I'm going to buy somebody else a karban? It says in our Mishnah that if he says both things, he says the word I and I want to buy somebody else a karban, says the Gemara, I can be medayik. Why would the Mishnah add extra words? All the Mishnah had to say is that somebody walked by, heard what the first person said, and he just repeated one word. And I, in Hebrew it's one word. I want to do the same thing. No, but the Mishnah continues. V'alai ligalech, and I also want to buy karbanos. Meaning that the word I is not enough to capture both statements. So you see that the word I is only for half. Amri in apagid dibur mashma. You're right. Okay, it does only work. The word I only works for half the statement. Miu areisha I say, but which half? Says the Gemara. Mina. Oh, from our Mishnah itself, you can be medayik. The Mishnah had to continue and say, did the lights just go off? Is it like, I used to be a caterer, right? And when 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning came around, I wanted to go home. Suddenly the lights mysteriously used to go off in the middle. And okay, I got the hint, Rabbi. We're almost done. Oh, sorry. So in the middle of the sentence here, from the fact that the Mishnah adds and explains what he was saying, meaning that I only works for the first part of the statement, and therefore he had to add the second part. So I is for the first part of the statement. Okay. So now we're just going to have one question and one answer, and we're done for today. Says Rav Huna to Rav. Who told you? You typically speaking, when a person says the word and I, he means I want to capture everything my friend said. But you're asking me, so how come the Mishnah had to continue and explain what he was saying? The Mishnah was just saying that he was reiterating. It wasn't so simple. So the Mishnah added a couple of words, but in fact, what he meant when a person says the word and I, it means both stipulations, both statements, and the Mishnah is explaining. He's just explaining a little bit more. Don't think that I only meant the first part. I also meant the second part as well. I'm going to buy the guy karbanos. Because it's a little strange, right? You hear your friend saying, I want to become a Nazir, and by the way, I'm also going to give a little tzedakah. So I would think that when the person says and I, he means the main part. I'm going to become a Nazir. No, he means both things. And the contribution to another Nazir. He says, Ravuna, the Tani Seifa. Guess what? There's another Mishnah later on. A guy says, I want to bring karbanos. Only one stipulation here. I want to bring half the karbanos of a Nazir. Chatzi Nazir, half the karbanos. I don't know how you do half of 3, but whatever. You pay cash, half of 3 karbanos. And over there, it says this exact same wording. And I also want to do that. And I want to pay somebody's karbanos. But there's only one stipulation. So what is the guy saying? Va'ani. Va'ani means everything the guy said. And he also added, and I want to buy half of the karbanos. But there's only one stipulation. You don't have to say 2 statements here. Over here, for sure, you don't have to say 2 statements. There's only one statement because there's only one. The original guy only said 1 statement. So his friend only has to say Vani. So why over there does he add a second explanation? Says Ravuna, because we're just trying to explain what he meant. He's just being more specific. What I meant is, I want to be like you in the fact that you are buying karbanos for somebody. I'm doing half of that. Me says Gemara, and he's continuing the question. There's only one statement, not 2 statements, so you can't even split his words. Says Ravuna, I want to be exactly like you. What's so hard to understand that the Mishnah is just adding extra words to explain what he said? No, and that's it for today. No, what you're saying doesn't make sense. The Mishnah doesn't just add words. Now, it would make sense, says Gemara, you're adding words in one case. But to add extra words in 2 cases doesn't make any sense. If I just want to explain what he's saying, I'm reiterating what he said, say it once. But you don't have to repeat yourself again on another daf and another Mishnah. What you're saying doesn't make sense. Says Gemara, if you're telling me that you don't have to say these extra words in the Reisha, We said it anyway. Tani say for the late tzricha mishum reisha the tzricha. If you're telling me that there's some special hint here, there's a special halacha that comes out of these words, so now I understand why the second Mishnah mimics the first Mishnah. Even though it's not necessary in the second Mishnah at all, but the Mishnayos like to mimic each other. The Lashon should remain constant. What's the word I'm looking for? Consistent. Thank you. You tell me that there's no special halacha in these words, that I'm going to also buy korbanos. There's zero meaning to those words. That makes no sense just to repeat something unnecessary twice. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.